Hey, we got an awesome guest today. It's good. We got four people in here so far. We've got June, we've got Sketty, we got Sweet Polly, and Tommy. Good to see you guys. I don't know if you know this fella. I don't see him around too much. We were just talking backstage. I mean, I see him on my feed, but I've never seen anybody really come up and have this guy on their live stream. So I asked him if he would do it, and it was perfect time. And here he is, a Hawaiian fish keeper. And why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself, my friend?
Aloha, everybody out there. I really appreciate it, Jess, for having me on. Haven't done a live stream in a while. I used to do live streams every now and then. It's just time is tough, time is valuable. I got three sons. They're all in basketball. I got my oldest son, college basketball player, and then I have my 10 and 11-year-old who are in the AAU circuit, that youth basketball. And so I coach my own program on top of creating YouTube content, and it's sort of like my yin and my yang. So, I have to deal with irate parents. I have whistles and referees, and I got to make decisions at split seconds. And then I come home, and this is where I veg out in my fish room. And we all know that feeling too, when you just unwind, maybe couple, adult beverages, feed the fish. You kind of just relax and zone out. And it's my yin and my yang with coaching and then, fish keeping. And so I'm originally from Hawaii. I moved to the mainland when I was a kid. So I moved with my parents to Southern California. It's kind of like where I grew up. And then I moved to Northern California like in 2001. And I've been here ever since. So, yeah, that's kind of like a little outline of my life. I've been keeping fish for about 20 years now, a little over 20 years. And I'll go back, my first experience with keeping fish. When I moved to the mainland in 79, it was really popular here, keeping fish, freshwater fish. Saltwater wasn't a big deal yet, but freshwater fish was something huge. And so coming from the best aquarium in the world, Hawaii, we would always go fishing, not your typical fishing with the pole, but we would either go down and dive, or we would troll with nets, kind of the old school style with my uncle. And so we would see fish. I would see fish all the time, and I would just take it for granted, not thinking anything of it, because you see the yellow tangs, you see all the triggers down low, occasionally you'll bump into a shark every now and then, but like in Hawaii, it's very respectful. So we didn't have any problems, but you would see the sea turtles and whatnot. And then when we got here to the mainland, and keeping fish in a glass box was something new to us. And we were like just intrigued with freshwater fish because we've never seen them really before. No one keeps aquariums in Hawaii. It's very rare back then. Now it's kind of more popular. So we got into the freshwater keeping fish, but my dad, we didn't know anything about keeping fish. So we had Oscars with bettas and, what are those catfish that are see-through, like the ghost catfish? I think they're
yeah.
Yes, like that. We had a mixture of fish that you're not even supposed to have, a pleco. And so of course, obviously, we would wake up the next day and all the fish are gone except the Oscar. So
yeah.
is what's going on? What happened to the fish? We didn't think that we didn't know anything about freshwater fish. So I always tell the story because it's funny. We just didn't know anything about it. And when we would purchase fish at the fish store, back in those days, like late 70s, early 80s, they didn't really care either. They were just like, oh, you want this? Okay, cool. They would just bag it up and they would think that what's going on. But it wasn't the case. And we learned over time. And then we kind of kept fish off and on. I grew up with Oscars. So I always have a special place in my heart with Oscars. And then, of course, as I got older, we stopped. And then I got back into it. Probably in my, I would say, early 30s, I started keeping fish again. And then getting really serious, like probably in my 40s, I would say. Yes. Okay. Your boy's pretty old. I'm an old dude. So I've been around the block a few times, man. So you figured if I was about 8 years old when I moved to the mainland. It was 78, 79. You can kind of do the quick math and, and I've been keeping fish ever since. So like, getting into the whole social media side of it, I would obviously watched the aquarium co-ops and Jay Wilson and Tazawa Tanks and all these guys that I could relate to, like, oh man, this is cool, this is fun. And I never really took it like, oh man, I'm going to start my own channel. And then I would just sit down and learn from these guys and go, oh man. And then next thing you know, I'm like, wait a minute, I think I can do something like this. This looks like fun. And like I said, it's a hobby for me. And so the whole hobby side of it kind of took over. And I never thought that, oh, I'm going to make a ton of money doing this. I'm not, I'm going to be, I'm going to be the next YouTube sensation.
Yeah.
I was looking at it as hobby first. It's fun. We laugh at it. We watch it. My boys and I, look at that. What a moron. And then, but the fun side about it is when I would coach basketball, like it's my yin and my yang, right? Like I got to coach. I got to deal with irate parents and, whistles are being blown. And so it's like, I'm all wound up. And then when I come home, I veg out with my aquariums, feeding them. And it kind of just brings me down and I can chill and just relax. And I love that of fish keeping. And then I would never tell my kids that I coached. I coached probably about 20 some odd kids. I would never say, hey, go check out Coach Mel's YouTube channel. It was always like something just for me and for the people that were in the hobby. It was never like to promote myself or anything like that. So that's how hush hush. So nobody knew I was into keeping fish. Everybody just thought, oh, it's Coach Mel. And they only know me with get back on defense, D up, back, all the plays, calling it triangle, this, that, box out. And then next thing you know, they see this other side of Coach Mel. I think one of my parents happened to like maybe Google search it and something came up with, my YouTube channel. Next thing you know, it spread like wildfire. Everyone was like, what the heck? Who's this guy? They're watching videos and I'm like nerding out, right? Because they don't know this side of Coach Mel. They just know Coach Mel, the coach. And then they see me going, oh, aloha, check this out. We're going to go check out this fish. They're like, who the hell is this guy? So I thought it was just seeing their perspective, me not knowing. And then they would go, Coach, when did you start doing this? I didn't know you did aquarium fish. And I'm like, oh yeah, it's kind of like my thing besides coaching. I keep them separate. And they just thought it was the coolest thing. And like I said, I never got into it to be rich. I did want to super hyper focus on so I set goals for myself. And I think if you're getting into it to try to be rich, it ain't gonna happen. You gotta come with a different mindset. You enjoy it, and like I said, I happen to pick up some sponsors. I happen to make a little bit of money doing it, and then the same thing with the social media side on like Instagram. And so when that comes, that's just bonuses, and it helps pay for the hobby.
Yeah,
and, it does help contribute to the bills too as well. And I just it's fun. It's still fun for me. And I think I've been creating videos for like 5 years. I mean, I don't have some huge channel. I still don't. I have fun with it. And I don't dwell on videos if they don't, go viral as everyone talks about. I have fun. I create something. I look at it. I watch it. I laugh. It's fun. It's fun for me. That's what it is. And like we talked a little bit about backstage, when it's not fun, it's like, I don't want to do this anymore.
Yeah, exactly. And I think you're approaching it right. Just have fun with it. And if your passion for it and everything will show in your videos because you're enjoying what you do, and the numbers will follow. And you have that right in your description of your channel. You bring your charismatic personality to it. You can really see that you really enjoy what you do in your videos. And June here, only Oscars. See what I put her comment up on the screen there. You can,
one of the first fish tube. Oh wow, that's cool.
And she says this too.
Oh, that's cool. That's awesome. Yeah. My wife isn't too big in the hobby though. I'll tell you, she really hates it.
My wife hates it. My wife don't hate it, but she hates the amount of time I spend doing it.
Back at Tiki. Oh yeah, Tiki Lounge. Now check it out. Like I tore up our backyard when I was building the 8,500 gallon koi pond. I wasn't planning on it being 8,500 gallons. And I think a lot of people don't know the inside story. My boy Dennis approached me, and he's like the handyman guy. Like he has the vision. He's got that mechanical, like engineering type mind, and I don't. I'm just a laborer. I don't have the mind, like I don't have the vision to build something. And my backyard was pretty big, but I was planning on maybe expanding my 500-gallon, 1,000-gallon pond to like 2,000 gallons. That's all I wanted. And he kept bugging me to, hey, let me help you. Let me help you. Let's go big. Let's go huge. And I'm like, you know, he's dropping words like excavator. And I'm like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Wait. I said, listen, I would love a huge pond because I love koi fish. But the reality of it is I got to pay for an electricity bill that I wasn't planning on having, you know, and so he was just like bugging me and constantly grinding. I'm like, no, I think I just want to do a 2,000 gallons, something simple. And my wife was like, I feel sorry for Dennis. Just tell him like, you know, just let him help you. And I go, babe, I don't know, man. We're going to open Pandora's box because his vision is like, woo. And so I called him up and I said, hey, man, listen, let's do it. Let's build a pond in the backyard. So, I mean, he came with an excavator and we dug up 2 trees that were in the backyard and we started digging and we started shaping, and it was a lot. And I managed to video and log it all on my YouTube channel. And it was just an insane build. It brought a lot of headaches, a lot of fighting with my wife. Like, what are you doing to our backyard? And I was like, I told you, you know what I mean? Like, and it's only him and I that are doing it. I don't have a team of 10 or 15, nor do I have the money to afford to build a pond like this. So I was blessed and fortunate to have a lot of sponsors help. So I want to say like 99, I'll say maybe 95% of the pond has been sponsored, from the filtration to the lights, to the cinder blocks, to, I mean, my friend, Dennis, he sponsored a lot of it too as well. So it was just a crazy DIY build, and it's still in the making. I still have to do the waterfall section of the pond, which is hopefully we're going to bang that out this summer. So hopefully the pond will be, we just got rocks, and like the scaping of a pond that big is what's so expensive, or rocks. Rocks are expensive, but he has access to people's property in Napa, which is in Northern California, and they just have these big moss rocks everywhere on their property, and he's got access to them, and they have an excavator. So he loads up his trailer and he brings it to my house, and we dump it in the backyard, or we unload it physically, manually, one at a time. It's insane. They're not huge boulders, but they're big enough to where we can handle it with a dolly, and we just throw them into the backyard. And so we just finished dropping off a load of rocks. I did a video on that. And so this spring/summer, we're going to get to it and finish off the waterfall section of the pond, which is insane.
You might know Slim Tim. He was one of the OG fish keepers back in the day, years back, you know, with your, you know, your King of DIYs, your Jays, your, what's that, Mass Aquariums. He was one of the old school guys. I don't know if you know the name there or not.
Slim Tim, it doesn't ring a bell. But horrible with names too. So I can meet somebody and they walk away. I'm like, damn, what was his name? I always do that. I'm like, hey, what's up, man? And the worst is when they know you. They're like, hey, what's up, Mel? And you're like, hey, what's up, dude?
Yeah. I think June's saying that your wife bought you some fish, so she can't be too mad at you.
Well, she did, because she felt bad for me, because I went. It was one video I did. I didn't know what a plakat betta was, and I thought it was something that I can go in there and, you know, $20. And I fell in love with it. Was it a plakat? I can't remember. It was a koi betta. It was a beautiful betta. And I didn't know it was $75. So I'm like, hey, what is that betta fish right there going for? It was a galaxy. It was something crazy. And they go, oh, it's 70. I go, it's $75. And I go, oh, and I was going there to do a video on it. I'm like thinking, you know, hey, I'm going to pick up this betta fish. It looks beautiful. You guys got to see it. I've never seen a betta fish like this. And then I get the price and I'm like, oh, I got to redo this whole video. I can't get that fish. I got to get something else. And then so she felt bad for me. I didn't get anything. So I got my car, came home, and she goes, oh, what'd you get? And I go, oh, I didn't get anything. She goes, why? I go, because the fish I was going to get was $75 and I only had $20. I didn't think it was going to be anything over 20. I didn't even ask. And so she goes, it was $75. She goes, why? I go, I don't know. It was beautiful though. And so I guess she just felt bad. Hey, she was in a good mood. What can I say? She drove all the way down there. She took my boy. She said she was going to go grocery shopping. She buys it. She comes back and surprised the hell out of me. I was literally like, wait, what? Like, it was such the biggest surprise because I know she's not into fish that it kind of got my eyes a little misty-eyed. I was a little misty. I was like, you really do love me, you know? And, well, and then, of course, I got like 10 aquariums in the house. And she said, okay, now you're pushing your luck, right? So we made a deal. She said, you can have the garage and you just get these aquariums out of my house. So I have 3 aquariums in the house, but I moved everything else pretty much inside the fish room, Tiki Lounge. And so it's still a work in progress, you know, but like I said, I'm having fun with it. And when you're in that content creator mode, everything is like, oh, this is content. Let me grab oh, this is content. Oh, this is content. So I just been in a zone. So it's hard for me to even the time wise to watch anything aquarium related. I'm just so like, my time is spread very, very thin, you know? So I'm just like, I miss it though. Once in a blue moon, I'll get online and I'll watch something or normally it's something to do with ponds because I'm so into the pond and trying to build the waterfall perfect before I start because I don't want to mess up. You know, it's just a lot of work and we got to move these rocks around. And so, and then also the liner is so expensive, you know, this liner that I'm getting for it, that was probably the most expensive thing that I bought. Personally, I had to buy it and it was like $1,500 for this 30 by 50 liner that we used to line the inside of this pond.
Huge.
Yeah, which
how many mil thick is it?
I didn't know how big this pond was going to be until we put a meter on the water and we started to fill it up. And I was just, okay, 4,000 gallons. Wow. 5,000. Whoa. 1,000. Oh my gosh. 7,000. So it ended up being right around that 8,400 gallon mark, give or take a couple hundred gallons. And then then reality hit. I was like, holy crap, I got to pay for this electricity bill.
Yeah.
So that's when things just set in like, oh no. And like in California, man, it is so expensive. So maybe in the future we'll be looking at some solar or something like that. Cause I definitely want to at least run the pond off of solar. That would be really cool. So we'll see what happens. I don't know. It's just,
who's captain and patriot?
Who?
June says no captain or patriot. Very cool fish.
No captain or patriot.
I don't know if that was directed towards you. Maybe you had a fish named them.
I don't know. No captain or patriot. I don't know. Patriot fish? No captain?
That might not have been directed towards you. I just thought it was. So that flower horn behind you is beautiful. Looks really cool. Is he got a cool personality or has he got the tude?
Great personality. His name's Reggie. And then I have a divider in this 75-gallon tank. I was trying to work on breeding them. She was showing signs. He was showing signs. So I'm like, cool, I'm going to take down this divider. I did a whole video on it. And we're going to try to breed these two because my female flower horn, she's already laid eggs with a previous flower horn that I had, but he was sterile. Most flower horns are sterile when they come from overseas. And there's like a 20% chance that your male can actually produce fertilized eggs. So I, rolled the dice with my old flower horn Maui. He wasn't able to. So I'm rolling the dice with this guy, took down the divider, and they ended up fighting like cats and dogs, which is normal. So I was watching them. I watched them for an hour, lip lock. Then they break away. She's kind of big for a female, a little bit bigger than him. And I was just kind of like watching them. And then another hour went by, and they were still lip locking. And I'm like, you know what? Let me separate them, put the divider back up. His lip was torn. I felt bad because he was a beautiful F3 fader show quality flower horn. And I felt so bad. And I was like, God, I just ruined him. I mean, just his mouth was screwed up. So I applied this stuff called Minfin, and his lip has healed. It looks great. I think his upper lip hasn't really grew back perfect, but he's alive, and I'm not going to do that again.
Yeah. Yep. Jane and Aquatics, he's another creator and he's also a breeder, and he's that's what he does now. He breeds and sells fish. He's got a flower horn. I thought it was really cool. He'd reach in the aquarium and rub his head, his
Oh
bump,
yeah, yeah.
and he loves it.
Yeah, if you work with them, they're very, very cool. Like you can rub their head, you can pet them like a dog. And
Yeah.
I did a video on like what's more personable, the Oscar fish or the flowerhorn fish, because you know it goes back and forth. Because I mean, Oscars, what they call them, the puppy dogs of the aquarium industry. So it was kind of a debate going back and forth, and flowerhorns are like right there too. But I personally, I leaned towards the Oscar just because you can, for the most part, you can keep more fish, different fish with Oscars, with the dither fish that. But like with these guys, man, it's hit and miss. Sometimes you can keep them with fish. Sometimes you just can't. Most of the time you can't with a flowerhorn. So that's the part that sucks. They're kind of a solo artist, you know, in an aquarium. But yeah, it was and that was one of the things I recorded. It was like, yeah, it was a failure. That was my bad. Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Hey,
so
at least you try. You don't, because I always say fish, like people, have different personalities. So when I get the question, can you have this fish with this fish? Maybe.
yeah,
Depends on the fish, you know. June
I
here, as you can tell by her name, I think June, what is it? I think she has upwards of 130 Oscars. Uh,
wow.
she loves her Oscars, and she's got them all in huge tanks, and she's got rays as well. And
Oh, that's
but she loves her Oscars.
yeah. We can't keep freshwater stingrays in California. There's a lot of things we can't keep. I want to get a paddlefish. I don't know if you've seen those before in my pond. Something different, you know. It's a filter fish, but they're illegal to have in the state of California. California has all these rules and regulations, man. It's getting bad. But there are a couple loopholes that if you have a certain license for education, which I believe being a content creator on YouTube counts. This is what I heard. I haven't gone down to Fish and Game to check it out, but I plan on doing that and creating a video going down to Fish and Game and seeing if I can qualify for this special license to keep a paddlefish. Maybe it's they come out and they see where it's going to be, where you live. You know, it just, I don't know how it is, but I'm going to try to get a paddlefish because I think they're the coolest thing ever.
Yeah. Oh, so how many how many fresh first I'll ask, how many aquariums do you have total, and how many freshwater aquariums do you have versus salt?
Okay, salt, I only have one, so that's an easy one. It's a 10-gallon, something simple. I wanted to kind of just dip my toe in the saltwater world. I like it. I want to go bigger, maybe like a 30-gallon cube. I do have like a 120 that I thought about setting up saltwater. I want to keep the Hawaii state fish. That's like one of my bucket lists. The humu humu nuku nuku apua'a is what I want to keep, along with some yellow tangs. I kind of want to do a tribute to Hawaii. I kind of want to keep Hawaii triggerfish inside that aquarium. So that's my ultimate goal. But I have one 10-gallon saltwater tank, and then I have 4, 5, 6, 7 aquariums here in the fish room in the garage, and then I have another 3. So I have 10, and then I have a mini DIY pond in the backyard, and my huge 8,500-gallon pond. And then I have like, I don't even know if you want to count these, but I have like, I don't know, 6 or 7 tubs of Japanese rice fish, Madaka, that I've been growing to love, and they're, you know, pretty popular. There's a whole like world of people that keep Madaka, which I'm slowly learning. They're like koi fish, but just small versions of koi fish, the colors and whatnot, how they're breeding.
Well,
So,
I was watching that video you put out about bonsai koi fish. They're small too, get about 6 inches, you said, roundabout.
that was a recent video I put out. So there's a place here in Northern California called Koi Enterprise, and I was introduced to them. And these are like, they were like 5, 6-year-old koi. The biggest one was probably about 10 inches, and then the smallest one was about 5 inches. And so they vary right in that range. So like, you can keep bonsai koi in an aquarium. You know what I mean? You get a nice big size aquarium. You can keep some koi. Although koi are bred to be viewed from the top, that's why. But like, I mean, I just built like a really easy, cheap DIY mini pond that was about 75 gallons in the backyard that I can totally keep like 5 of those bonsai koi in, you know? So it's something that people that love koi fish, it's an option, you know?
I wish Chris, her name is Christine I just call her Sweet. Everybody calls her Sweeter. Her name's Christine, but it's I don't know why her channel name's escaping me. Chris, she's a member of my channel, and of course she's all about koi. They made huge ponds at where she lives, and that's what she's about, koi. I wish she was in here right now to talk with you. I don't know if you know her, Christine Sweetacre's Koi Pond.
No, I don't. Where's she based out of?
Koi Farm. Oh God, I can't remember where she's from. But she lives out there and she's got enough property and they just built these big old ponds
Oh
and
my,
she loves her koi.
that would be an awesome place to visit. God, I wonder where she's located. I had never heard of her before, but
Illinois.
that would be awesome.
Yeah.
Illinois, is that where she's at?
Illinois.
Oh, okay.
Now what's the biggest aquarium you have there?
The biggest aquarium I have is right now it's on that side. I have 150, I have 250 gallon tanks. But I'm getting a 220. So that's what I have now. Now, behind the scenes, I'm going to give you the sneak peek. This wall right here, my boy Dennis and I, once we finish the pond, because that's the goal, we're probably going to build a 10-foot aquarium. It may be a little over 500. It's going to be between 500 and 700 gallons. And we are going to build that in the fish room, and pretty much we'll see what we can keep in there. I do have, Ocellaris peacock bass, Kelberry peacock bass that I want to eventually have in that big tank that we're going to build.
Are you going to build it out of acrylic or glass?
We're going to go glass. So we're going to go plywood, glass. We're going to do the whole 9 yards. Like I said, I'm merely the guy that's going to do a lot of the physical work. And my boy's got the vision, and he just knows how to do that stuff. I don't know how to do that stuff. So he's got the vision. He knows what to do. And I'm just going to be merely probably painting it or something, So we're going to build this thing, and we're going to have a lot of the bigger fish and cichlids. And we're going to kind of just slowly add and see what gets along. And hopefully they can all just live in peace in this huge 10-foot aquarium in the fish room, which would be really cool, So that would be the next big thing that we have plans in the future. And I don't even think.
I don't mean to interrupt you. Do you watch Aquarium Domain? Are you familiar with him?
No, Aquarium Domain, no.
That's all he does. You need to sub to his channel if you want to learn how to build a bulletproof. He's got 3 different versions on how he builds his aquarium, stacking 2x4s or plywood, or he built a 4,500 gallon aquarium, and it's all in his basements.
Wow.
And he's got 3,500, 4,000, 5,000. He builds them, and it's just wood, fiberglass, pond armor, a lot of sanding, and wherever he gets his glass. But if you want some good insight on how to build them bulletproof, check Aquarium Domain. His name's Jeremy. Okay. Fantastic at what he does.
Check that out. Yeah, I've been watching Joey's too, the Cichlid Bros. I know they just recently built one. So, I've just been kind of taking some mental notes. And when I go to tell my buddy Dennis, hey, check this out, I just saw this video. He goes, hey, I already know what to do. And I'm like, okay, calm down, man. I'm just really suggesting. So, like I said, I'm just the laborer. And he's going to say, sand this and sand that and put a layer of this. I already know. But he's got the vision and he knows what he's going to do. So I'm like, all right, man, let me know. As soon as we finish this pond, we'll start building that. So, just going back to the original question, I got 10 aquariums and like the ponds in the backyard and the totes. So it's pretty wild.
Is it safe to say that koi is your favorite fish?
Yeah, they are. I think as a kid, I always would see them especially at the resorts in Hawaii. We would go and look at the koi ponds, and I'm just like, man, these are so cool. They're so big. Never really understood them. Didn't know the names of them. Didn't understand the origin. But then as I got older and I had this love for the fish and I had this above ground pond that we built and then eventually building the big pond, I just learned to just nerd out on koi. And now I have a huge pond. Now I can get koi that I love, and then learning about them, and then you become a little koi snob. I'm becoming a little bougie when it comes to koi fish, and I never thought I would. Before it was like, give me all the koi, I'll take them all. And then now I'm like learning about them. I'm like, I don't know if I like that one. I don't know if I like that one. And so I'm just fortunate enough to like have fish that I don't like, and I can post it, and people want them. And
Yeah.
so, you know, they'll have like a 2,000-gallon pond, and they would be like, "I'd love to take one of your koi." I'm like, "You
Yeah.
can take all of them if you want." So I did a video on catching these things because it's hard to catch koi fish in an 8,500-gallon koi pond. So I had to wait till like late at night, like 1, 2 in the morning, and I would go out, and you know how fish go into that sleep state where they're kind of
Yeah.
just roaming around. Same thing with koi fish, and they would always gravitate towards the shallow end. So I didn't have to get in the koi. I mean, I didn't have to get in the pond. I just used my big pan koi net, and I would look at the fish go slowly because they're still
Right.
awake, and I can just easily just sweep the fish that I wanted, and I would put them in a tote and then put them in that mini pond that I have just to keep them safe until someone wanted to come pick them up, and I would show them, and then they would go, "I want that one, I want this one, I want that one." So I'm officially a koi snob.
Yeah.
So now, like, you know, I'm like, there's certain koi that I want on my list, and now I don't want to just throw anything in my pond. Now, like I said, I'm super bougie when it comes to koi fish. It's so bad, man. But
Yeah.
it's like, people are
And
like,
then,
"Want to
and then
rescue koi for me?" I'm like, nah, I'm good.
you also get the people like my wife. Like, she's not into the hobby like we were discussing before, but she certainly likes to come out and look at the tanks and maybe feed them every once in a while. Her favorite's probably goldfish. Not probably bad. She likes the goldfish. But one thing that's neat about her is the uglier the fish, the more she likes it. So like your black Moors, your ugly, weird looking, that's why she likes it, because she's always been different. She's never been a sheep. She's always been a lion. She's not a follower.
Yeah,
So she likes the weird looking fish. The fish you wouldn't want, she would take. You
I love that. That's awesome.
know.
She's in it. She's in it.
But and it goes hand in hand. Like, obviously starting YouTube helped me. I'm monetized the, I don't know, couple $100 I get month. I'm not complaining about it. The sponsors, I love it, but you get to meet people, you get to learn people. You'd like just having you up and talking with you, and I get to chat with you. And I always liked your videos because you were very positive, and I was like, I gotta see if this guy wants to come up. I'm gonna ask,
Yeah,
and you were
appreciate.
right on it, and it was so I'm really enjoying this.
Yeah, I try to keep that whole aloha spirit, you know, in the hobby, and just it's all about good vibes, you know. This hobby, it's super healthy for people. People don't understand that aren't in the hobby. You know, it relieves stress and high blood pressure, and
Mm.
there's just all this natural medicine that fish do for us when you're feeding your fish, and it just relaxes the body. And so, like, just being positive in this hobby, it comes with it, I believe. You know, like I said, I deal with a lot of upset parents. I have to deal with a lot of drama when it comes to being a coach.
Mm.
And when I come home, this is like my happy place. You know, I close, now that it's in the garage, it's sort of turning into like my lounge, my man cave, you know.
Yeah.
So I just maybe a couple
Mhm.
beverages and just kind of vibe out with my babies and feed them, and then like go into my backyard and talk to my koi fish. And you
Yeah.
know, my wife will occasionally come out and go, "Oh my gosh, that fish is big." Like that's
Right.
how many times she comes out and checks it out. Or I will slowly start to see her video the pond and show her mom and her friends, and I'm like, okay, she's liking it, you know. But like, I'm telling you, there was like a year where we were arguing and fighting about the backyard and what it looked like because I destroyed it. And then when rainy season comes, I can't do anything for months, you know, and it's a big mud pit. And so now that she's getting the vision, because I was always trying to tell her this is what's going to do. We're going to do this, this, and that. She's like, yeah, I don't see that. Just make it look nice. And
Yeah.
okay, just give me some time though, okay? So
That's not what I meant, Ross. I just meant to say that my wife has always been against the grain. She's not one to like, most people when they're buying fish, they like the pretty colorful ones, right?
yeah,
I think we can agree when someone's buying fish, they're going to go for the pretty colorful ones, and it just so happens those ones cost more, right? My wife is just the opposite. That's all I meant by that. I didn't mean people that like pretty fish or sheep. I was speaking
I
about the personality, not the
I love
actual.
even fish that are, I call them special needs, man. I love them. Like I have a blind shubunkin goldfish in the pond. And that's like my baby, born with no eyes. When I saw him, they were like, hey, we just got this fish. They go, and I was at my local fish store. They're like, Mel, do you want this thing? And I go, what do you mean want it? Like for free? They're like, yeah, and it was beautiful. and I didn't see it didn't have any eyes. And I go, oh wow, you're just gonna give me this fish? They go, yeah, it's a defect. And I go, well, what's wrong with it? I thought it was sick. They go, it has no eyes. And I'm like, wait, what? So it has like the sockets where the eyes go, but they're just blind. And I go, oh, I'd love to take him. So I took him, brought him home, and I was really nervous introducing him into the 8,500 gallon pond because it's massive. And it's not like I can throw food in there and he's just going to come up and eat, you know. But he's learned to navigate. He's still kicking. He's doing great. I've had him for about, 3 years now. He's beautiful. And he navigates through 8,500 gallons. Once in a while, I'll see him and I'm like, oh, there he is. I don't know. He's probably just eating algae and organisms, or once in a blue moon, he'll come up because he can smell the food and he hears the other fish eating, I'm sure. And he'll come start surfacing. And it's wild to me. Out of all the beautiful koi fish that I have, that fish there is like my pride and joy kind of, because he's blind, you know, and I feel bad.
Yeah, that's definitely neat. And I think June and I kind of share this. I'm partial to grumpy fish. I like fish with attitude, a little bit of attitude, like my blood parrots. I can't stick my arm in there and they're coming after me. It doesn't hurt.
Yeah.
And all of them like my arm hair, but they're coming up to me and hitting me. And the Oscar, I got to yank my hand out of there sometimes. If he's in a pissed off mood, look out.
Are they the King Kong blood parrots or no?
They're just a regular blood red.
Oh, yeah. Isn't it annoying though when they pick your hair and like, dang.
Yeah. But he like, I got a short out there. He attacked the python. He was mad at that. He gets mad at my hand. You can see them in that 125 right there. They're orange. They look real. They have a very deep color.
I saw them on your channel. I was watching your channel and I was just like, dude, those are massive. They look like King Kong blood parrots. They're pretty big.
They might be. I don't know. They were sold, marketed as just red parrots.
Pretty massive though.
Yeah, I've been going back and forth. I've got a 300 gallon here I got for $800, right? It's Euro braced. I got a good deal on it.
Great deal.
It's glass.
How'd you get that thing in there?
A couple, buddy, three of us on a whole day Saturday and some jacks.
Oh, that's massive.
Jacks and boards. And, but it turned out that after a week of filling it, they dinged it at the corner and it was behind the trim and I didn't see it. And after I filled it and the water pressure was in it for a week, a crack started to run.
Oh,
so I was faced with a bunch of options. I can either replace the back panel, which can, you know, the cheapest I could get that panel was $610. I got silicone, or I thought about patching it. Aquarium Domain said I could patch it. I thought about just saving the front glass and building plywood now, but I found even better, a different option now that I might be going with. And I'll keep you guys posted on my channel, guys. Might be a little something crazy happening with this 300 gallon issue I've been having, and they know all about it. So keep that in mind. Look forward to that content coming out. But certainly love the blood parrots. One of my favorite fish. I don't care how controversial they are, but the only thing about them is when I'm feeding them, I have to use flake and I have to dunk it with my hand in the water and let it go. So it's floating in the water column in a clump, and it has to be big flakes because, you know, their mouths, due to the way they made them in genetics, they're always open and they look like they're smiling.
Yeah.
I have to do that so they can come up to the flakes and suck them in because they have a harder time eating.
That's funny.
But I do a mix of flakes of kelp, cichlid flakes, and the krill flakes from Northwind. So they're getting all I watch them. They try to go down there and get the pellets. They try and they just can't do it. So the flakes, I got to make sure they're eating, you know.
Yeah. I have 3 they're yellow blood parrots though. So yellow parrots, I guess, the hybrids. Okay. Yeah, they're fun though, man. I love them. I think they're super cool looking. Definitely unique.
Okay, Jody P. Thank you for sharing his link. Tim was asking, you guys if you weren't familiar with Mel, you got to check out his channel. Very, very good personality. Love what he does and beautiful fish and lots of good energy behind it. So, and that's what I like, surrounding myself with positivity and having fun and enjoying it. You know, you got content creators out there that are all about the negative and the clickbaiting and whatever it takes. Don't get me wrong. I want people to watch my crap more too, but that's on me. I got to make my stuff more engaging, but I'm not going to put a clickbait thumbnail on there to bring you in and watch something that's totally not even advertised. Just
Yeah.
have fun with it like you do and enjoy it. And that's why the reason what drove me to you is your personality. I really enjoy what you do.
I appreciate it. Yeah, I just, you know what, I'm a fish nerd, and I'm just here to let people know out there that, us nerds are cool people too at the same time, So
Yeah, I don't know. I never understood the term why people say we're nerds because we like fish. I mean, look at John from KG Tropicals. I don't consider him a nerd. I don't consider you a nerd.
we get this, we get this label all the time, and April 6th, I'm going to be down in Southern California for this big Coast Fish Club event, and it's called the Aqua Swap 2025, and they asked me to be the MC, and I was like, wait, what? They're like, we were wondering if you would like to be the MC and be a guest speaker here, and I go, absolutely. I mean, I live about 7 hours away. I said, well, what day is it? Because I'm a coach, a tournament, and blah, blah, blah. And they were like, well, it's going to be this day at this time. And I do whatever I can for the fish hobby. I love it. You know what I mean? So I'm doing it for free. I'm not going out there and expecting to, an appearance fee. I'm like, what the hell is that? You know what I mean? I'm just a guy.
Yeah.
And occasionally we'll bump into people, whether it be at the fish store or sometimes it's at the gas station or at my son's orthodontist appointment, and people are like, oh my gosh, it's you. And I'm like,
Yeah.
what do you mean it's who? What? Like, my husband watches you religiously, or oh my gosh, my kids love you. And I'm like, they do? It throws me for a loop.
Yeah.
And I'll be at the gas station pumping gas, and some guy rolled up and was just like, Hawaiian Fish Keeper. And I'm like, who? And I go, oh my gosh. It takes me a second to realize, thank you for the love. I appreciate it, man. So that throws me for a loop. But as far as like, coming on live streams like yours, like if I'm open, I'm down. I've never declined anybody. And so like, the Aqua Swap that's going down in April 6th, I'm going to be down there having some fun and I don't even know I've never emceed an event. So I'm just going to kind of roll with it. Whatever, you know what I mean? Guest speak, and then kind of I got to do the announcements, I guess. I have no problem doing it. It's kind of like.
Will you record that for your channel as well?
Yeah, I'll probably shoot content while I'm there too as well. Absolutely. And go out there and have fun and, just hang out. It's like a 7-hour drive for me. So I'm going to drive out there, and I'll probably take my youngest son with me. He was like, I'll go with you, Dad. And I'm like, all right, cool, man. You can roll with me because I have no idea what's going to happen. He goes,
yeah.
It's going to be like, I have no idea. I've never done something like this, man. So
we got a couple questions for you here. This is the first one from Sleeper Barbecue.
Let's see here. Did you catch that? Catfish steal. Oh, the fish stealer, that cat. Yeah, I caught 2 of them. So my mini DIY pond in the backyard, I never had a cover for it. And I had Oranda goldfish in there. And I had a sturgeon. And I was growing the sturgeon out to put into my big pond. And so I would go out there, and the next couple of days, I'm like, wait a minute, where are my fish? There's like 2 fish in there. And I had like 7, right? And I'm like, so I'm looking everywhere in the pond, I'm looking in the filter. I'm looking over here. And it's not very big. It's like 75 gallons. So I'm like, and there's nothing in there. There's no plants or anything. So it's just pond. And I'm looking around the pond thinking maybe they jumped out. Orandas aren't jumpers, but you never know. I didn't have the water filled up to the top. So I was baffled for the longest time. And I'm thinking maybe it's birds. That was my first thing, birds.
Right.
And I thought frogs, because I had a problem with bullfrogs in my big pond eating fish. And the American bullfrogs out here in California, they get really big and they're a predator. I didn't know they ate fish. So I would get some really big ones. I've done numerous videos. I think I caught like 4 of those. And so I thought all these different predators. And then one night I went outside just to kind of just roam. I throw on my headlight and I go in the backyard and just kind of walk around and look around. And I saw a cat across the other side, like a feral cat. I don't even think it was a pet because it had no collar or anything. And there's so many cats in the neighborhood that roam, right? And maybe it does belong to somebody. I don't know, but it was in my backyard. I saw it and I'm like, light bulb kind of went off. So I almost bought a trail cam on Amazon for like $20. I almost bought that to set it up in the corner and just catch anything moving by the DIY pond. So I'm thinking, wait a minute, let me look up cats. So I kind of looked up cats on YouTube. These dudes are predators, man.
Oh yeah.
You know, when you think of cats, you're like, oh, they're scared of water because that's what we were told. Dude, when it comes to eating a fish, they sit there so patient at the edge of the water. And I got the videos and they got fish hooks for claws, and they just go, wheep, and they just scoop it up, stick it in their mouth, and they run away.
Yeah.
And fish are super friendly. And orandas, we all know, goldfish are the slowest swimmers ever.
Right.
I'm like, there's no way this cat was eating my fish. So I just put, 1 and 1 equals 2. This dude is eating my fish. So I happen to, instead of investing in a $20 trail cam, which why would I want to view a cat eating my fish on camera? So I go, oh, I'm going to buy a predator trap. So I just bought one of those. It's like $25 on Amazon. It was like those cage, they go into the food, it hits the trap, and then boom, boom, it just closes. And whatever's in there, whether it be possum or a raccoon. I never had problems with raccoons or birds of prey, thank God. And so I threw it out there the next day. Boom, there's some cat in there. And I'm like, I got you. And it was the cat that I saw that night, right? So he was just having a buffet in my backyard.
Yeah.
For I don't know how many weeks. And I didn't really think about it. He was probably eating a fish a day, maybe a couple. I don't know.
Oh, man. That's that little some bitch.
Yeah. So I caught him and I'm like, I got you, man. I got you. So I took him to the Humane Society because he didn't have a collar. So I just took him down there. They'll find him a home, whatever. And I reset my trap again. A couple days later, caught another one. I've never even seen this cat before. It was a big orange cat. Real mean one too, right? And no collar, no tags. I don't know. So same thing. Went down to the Humane Society, dropped him off. And and I haven't caught one since. But I also haven't lost any fish either. But I do have a cover over it. Just that corrugated plastic cover with some rocks on the end, just to hold it down, just to protect them, because I'm learning. And then now I recently put my Japanese goldfish in there called Tamasaba goldfish in there. So now I'm kind of creating this little goldfish vibe where I have some orandas, some Japanese goldfish. I don't know if I'm going to keep the Japanese goldfish in there because they can get to about a softball size. So I think there's a couple of them that are full grown. I did it for the video sake so I can show them to people because it's so hard to view them in an 8,500 gallon pond. It's like I'd have to throw food in there and hopefully they come up. I can get like maybe a couple seconds of footage before they go swimming away. So I managed to net them. They're really slow swimmers, but they're super unique looking. And I did a video on them. So I put them in my DIY mini pond so we can view them a lot easier in like a viewing bowl that I have and stuff. So to answer the question, yeah, we caught those cats. So far, I still have the trap set. Haven't caught anything since. So, so far so good. But I see a bunch of cats in the neighborhood. When I drive through my neighborhood, I'm like, whose cat's that? Whose cats? They're just roaming the neighborhood, So it's quite annoying because the neighbors don't realize when you got thousands of dollars in your backyard and fish and, it's like, I don't even know why it's legal that you can just have cats roam the neighborhood. Keep your cat inside the house, man. That's like, I'm going to let my dogs roam the neighborhood then. You know what I mean? So
yeah. And June, she lives in California, and she had a question for you. She wants to know if you're going to go to the Findig in Sacramento on May 3rd.
Wow. You know what? I didn't even know it was going down May 3rd. I would. Yeah, definitely. May 3rd. Is that a Saturday? It's got to be a Saturday. Yeah, I may go down there for definitely May 3rd. I'm going to mark it in my calendar. The Findig. I missed it last year. I remember it was in Sacramento. I missed it last year. So, yeah, I think the Sacramento Society, the Fish Society, is going to be at the event that I'm going to be at. So I'll probably talk to them about it. I think they're involved with the Findig too. So I'll talk to them. They'll probably see me there emceeing the event. And I don't know, maybe something cool will happen. Maybe they'll have me as a guest speaker or something. So I'd love to attend that, though. As long as I can fit it in my schedule, I love giving back to the community. I think it's super important that we keep the hobby, fun. And I love when people say, "Oh my gosh, because of you, we got our first aquarium." I'm like, really?
Yeah, those are my favorite type of comments too. When you really help somebody or are really help somebody, or you know, those are my favorite type of call. Or when I make people laugh. May 3rd is a Saturday as well.
Oh, okay. Cool. Yeah, definitely. I'll probably I'm gonna mark that in my calendar. I missed last year's one. I remember a lot of people were coming down, were asking me if I was gonna make it, but weekends are usually booked with coaching. But I can, being that I'm the coach, I can navigate around that. So
Yeah, Scotty here has problems with all of them, but he's got summer tubs outside, and he's got the cats, the raccoons, possums, armadillos, and crazy birds.
wow, armadillos too, huh? That's wild. Yeah, predators, man. I'm glad that I don't. I can't even say I'm glad because it may happen. You know, especially there's a lot of cranes in my neighborhood. I see them flying over, but I usually, well, not during the winter, but during the summer, I usually throw up my canopy, like I have like those sunshade cells. I usually hang those up just to give some shade for the pond. But I haven't had any problems with birds, thank God. Knock on wood, because I know they're around.
Yeah, they can fly right in and scoop them up. June said it's Saturday and Sunday, and it's finally up on their website.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm definitely going to be there. Definitely. Come up and say hi. I can't stand it when I'll be somewhere and someone will message me on Instagram and is like, hey, I saw you over, but I didn't want to approach you because I didn't know if you were busy or you look busy. I'm like, no, come up and say hi, man.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
a guy, in the same, I just happen to put stuff on social media, but I'm just like you. I love talking fish. I love talking with people that support the channel, especially, man. That's my ohana. That's my family. So definitely when I bump into anybody or if anybody sees me out in the wild, you guys got to
Eh,
come up and say hi. You know what I mean? Like I get more annoyed when you don't say hi and you give me a message on Instagram. Um,
I have another question for you. Do you miss Hawaii?
oh yeah, when we moved when I was a kid, we would always go back every other year for family reunions, and so my boys, I just recently took them last year in December because my oldest son had a basketball tournament in Hawaii, which was super convenient. It was super cool. Just called up the family and we went out there, and I got to, especially my wife too. My wife has never met my Hawaiian side of the family, so she got to meet all the aunts and uncles, all my cousins, my younger sons. I got to show them where I grew up, and take them to all the secret local spots. My family's mainly, most of my family's on Oahu on the North Shore, so it's away from like the Waikiki and all that. We're basically on the North Shore where all the big surf is, so we stayed out there. I got to share the culture with my younger sons, born and raised here in California, so understand the culture and introduce them to their cousins and their aunts. So that was really cool. And then we're going to be going back in June to visit the family too again. And so like I love going there and shooting content because it's like the best place. And when I went, I shot like there's a place called Kakela Beach on the North Shore, and I went there and went in the water and was recording the fish underwater. The Hawaii state fish and yellow tangs and certain triggers that were under the water, which was really cool to do and just share my culture with everybody on YouTube and Instagram. But that was a really, really fun trip for me. And then this trip in June, I'm going to go visit some local fish stores too. So they're super excited. And I'm excited to share their store and, maybe get more eyes on their store in Hawaii. And so I've been talking with Shane, one of the owners of the stores that I'm going to go visit. So I'm excited for that. And I might go torching at night, which is the low tide will go down at night. And you pretty much, they call it torching because back in the days they would use a torch for lighting. But now everyone has headlamps. That was back in the old days. So we'll go out there with headlamps and we'll look at all the tide pools. And you can catch like anything from like eels to trigger fish because they get trapped in these tide pools. And it's really fun. You just got to know where the spot is. And so I have family back home that knows all the secret spots, and we can, maybe sometimes you run into a couple octopuses. And so it's going to be really fun to share that too as well with people that are familiar with my channel or who are following. So
I
everything's
think
content, though. You're so content driven when you go out there, especially in Hawaii. It's like it's an island. You know what I mean?
yeah.
So
I
to answer,
think Vinoski's familiar with you here. He says he sees you at the Coast Swap.
oh yeah, the who was that?
Vinoski.
I'll see you at the Coast. Oh, he's going to see me at the Coast Swap. Yeah, that's the Coast Aqua Swap, April 6th. So he's going to be out there. That's cool, man. I'm going to be there, man. Come up and say hi for sure. It's going to be fun. I can't wait, man. I got to, like we talked about sponsors and stuff. I reached out to Microbliff. They sent me like 5 buckets full of like different pond products that I'm going to give away. I'm going to give away 2 of these buckets. They have like the hat and they have like a towel and they have all these different ponds products for ponds. So it's a starter kit for somebody who's going to do like a DIY pond or so. I managed to get 5 buckets and I'm going to give away 2 when I'm there. And then I think the other 3 they're going to do as a raffle. And then I reached out to Mountain Tree, which is another sponsor of mine. And they sent me a bunch of media and towels and shirts and just a lot of swag to give away. So I'm going to be giving those away, maybe put together a bundle of media and shirts and stuff and have them raffle. All the money is going to be donated to the Coast Fish Club. So that's the kind of stuff that I love to do for the hobby. And like
there's people coming in that are familiar with you, like Cornish Fish and Game here and Atkins. He knows you're saying brother.
Yeah, brother. That's it right there, man. That's I living, man. Everything's brother this and brother that, and
yeah,
that's how we roll. You know, like I said, I'm away from the island, but I keep the islands close to my heart, and like I said, I use that. They call it the aloha spirit back home in Hawaii, and just sharing the aloha spirit, but in the fish keeping side. So the aloha spirit is good vibes. You know, it's all good vibes. It's all positivity. I've had many haters. I've even had some pretty big YouTubers hate on my content. And I just look at them and laugh. It's like, okay, you know what I mean? That whole, I'm not hurting anybody. It was just the weirdest thing to have people hate on you for being so positive. And maybe they think it's fake, but like what you see is what you get, you know? My personality is so crazy sometimes. And like, I can say some outlandish stuff. Like sometimes I have the personality of a 13-year-old, but like, hey, it is what it is. I have fun, you know. And if you're not having fun doing something that you love, why are you doing it? You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's my whole. You can see it on my bio on my channel. I don't take anything too seriously. Honestly, when I go into everybody else's live streams, I think I get on their nerves because I'm always cracking jokes and having fun. And we have one life to live, and it goes faster than you think. And I just think taking everything too seriously is you're wasting your life away.
Yeah, waste the time.
If you can't laugh and you can't have fun, what's the point of doing it?
Yeah.
Like you say there. So one islander to another, much love. And Vinoski says he keeps saying he wants your swag.
Oh, you want my swag? You want my what? Want your swag?
I want your swag. I think that's the second time he said that. I don't know what that means.
I think it's more like I don't know. Is it like the is it swag like in how the way I act, or is it swag like in like
merch?
Merch, yeah, something like that. I'm not sure. The only reason why I know what these words mean is because of my boys.
Yeah.
You know, especially my one that's in college. I'm like, hey, what is this term? Like, he's got to teach me these stupid words that they use. You know what I mean? Like, oh, that's cap. Dude, if you're saying that's cap, which means you're lying and you're over 30 years old, just stop, man. Okay.
Yeah.
I will give it to somebody in maybe 28 and younger, and they're using that word. Oh, that's cap. Oh, no cap. It's like, what are you doing, man? Come on.
Yeah. My daughter, she's friends with people online. She'll say things like, they're saying like she'll be doing a dance or something, right? Oh, girl, you ate. Yeah, she eats. She eats food. Why? What does this mean? Hey, is that supposed to be the new version of you killed it or you crushed it?
Yeah.
What is this ate shit? It's like, why do we got to constantly do this? Leave it alone.
Dude, it's so funny. The words that they come up with. I'm like, that's stupid.
You ate, girl. You ate. Yeah. What'd you eat? Was it a taco?
Yeah. Don't ever use that cap in the house. I don't even want to hear that.
Yeah.
So they're like, oh, okay, Dad. I go, that sounds so dumb. They're like, oh, that's cap, Dad. I'm like, shut up. Hey, matter of fact, brush your teeth and go to bed. Okay. That's cap. Okay. Get
I
your
can't look at you right now.
Hey, get your cap and ass and go to bed. Okay. How about I run a tight ship here, man. Don't get on dad's nerves, man.
Excuse me, Garcia made a joke here because there's
Oh,
three of us.
Aquatics. What's up, brother?
Yeah. Um, he called me a couple times today. I was unable to do it. It was crazy busy at work, but I'll get back to you tomorrow, Garcia. Why he said that was there's three of us that got together on a channel, and he's in here. It's called the Aquatic News Network. Check it out, and if you want to, subscribe to it because we all three do our scripts, and it's set up like a news network, right? And Tommy, the guy that's in the chat right now, and the Nightbot shares the link to it frequently. He puts the scripts together and he sends us what he wants us to do, and we put it together. I do the more comedy end of it, comedy end of things of it, and it's education, it's comedy, you learn, it's fun. We all have some comedy bits they throw in. We just started this not long ago, and it's not doing too bad. So if you're interested, subscribe to that. Aquatic News Network there. It's a good time. Tommy does a great job putting these scripts together and adding jokes, and then we all improv with it. So, and he'll do content creators like, well, let's see what's going on in the content creators world, and a couple of them at the same time. Aquarium Adventures, Graham was building a plywood tank, and at the same time Noisy was Aquatics doing it. So he's like, who's going to be done first? They're both doing it, different parts of the world. So real cool things like that he throws together.
Do they know those that you guys are doing the content on them too, kind of going back and forth who's going to finish?
Yeah, he did. I don't think he's done a follow-up on it since, but it's fun. It's like I say, it's a combination of comedy, education, because you just have to check it out when you're in your spare time if you feel like it.
That sounds like a blast, man.
We're enjoying it, and they plays the part. Tommy's in a full freaking suit, and I have a dress shirt, and Jim, Happy Place Aquatics, he has a dress shirt, and we all get in there and do our scripts. It's in. We are enjoying it like we're talking about.
Yeah, like a news crew. I love it. I love it.
Yep. Yeah, it's real fun. So I didn't know how much longer you had. You said you had about 30 minutes. Well, I got you for an hour because you're enjoying yourself so much.
When you're vibing with somebody, you're vibing,
Yeah.
Right, that vibe.
Well, so if I got questions for you, but we can, do it later, or I don't know what time you're.
Go.
I was going to ask you, like, what is the biggest mistake you learned from in the 20 plus years of keeping fish? Like, what is something that stuck out to you the most, a mistake you made, or something that you learned, something that really stuck out to you the most during your time of keeping fish?
What I've learned was about beneficial bacteria and using tap water to clean out filters and filtrations and media, and the studies that were proven, I think is like, because we're always taught, oh no, use fish water, right? And it's not true. Like, it takes about an hour and a half before you kill off the beneficial bacteria. So it's okay to run your filter media or clean your sponges with tap water. I do it all the time. And the only reason why I've done it is because I watched, I forget his name.
Primetime Aquatics.
Yes, Primetime Aquatics. And he did a talk on that at Aqua, what is it called? Aqua something.
Aquashella.
Aquashella. He did a talk, and he's done numerous videos on it. And I saw his video, gosh, I don't know, a couple of years ago, and I was like, interesting. And the dude's a biochemist. You know what I mean? He is a professor at the college that he teaches at. So it's like, if anybody knows, he does. So
yeah.
I would always do videos and cleaning my media and sponges with a tap water, and you still get people that say, what are you doing? So, and then of course of that, honestly, a lot of my aquariums are already established. So you got, the substrate, the glass, and the fixtures and whatever, and that has beneficial bacteria on it. But also learning that if you just squeeze it out and just clean your media and rinse it, you're okay, and it does a really good job on cleaning your filters and your sponges, I should say. So I would say that was like the biggest thing ever in the 20 years, because I was always taught that too. Like, it made sense, So when you break it down in the scientifically, and them running tests and specialists, and you're like, oh, okay, I'm down.
Yeah. And oh shit, where's it going? Yeah, and it's a massive help being able to do that. You get them cleaner, faster, and you just put them back in there. So I
Or
don't know
about
what Garcia means about asking you about Oscars. So
help.
explain.
What's that?
Garcia wanted me to ask you about the Oscars. I'm not sure what he means by
Great,
that.
doing great. Yeah, Garcia Aquatics. He actually sent me two of these. At the time, they were platinum. They were totally white, but they over time they slowly turned into these. They're called Lutino Oscars, which I've never heard of, but they almost look albino Oscarish. But I have them. They're two. I call them the twins, you know. And so Mary Kate and Ashley, they're doing great, man. They're doing great, brother. They're loving life. They're healthy. Everybody's good. The Oscar Army, I call them. I have I have 5 Oscars in my 150-gallon tank. They are all getting along. So that was because of Garcia Aquatics, man. He sent me those as a gift. Man, I don't even know how many years ago was that. Garcia, I can't even. Man, it's probably been about 3 years, maybe longer. I can't even remember. But yeah, those are some cool Oscars. They're still here. They're a favorite, man. The Oscar people love the Oscar Army.
Yeah.
You can never go wrong with an Oscar, man. You can never go wrong.
And and Tommy's saying here, we have a bona fide wildfire conservationist on our channel, and he does go out to different areas, and he came on board. So we're going to have a lot more different content on that to add. Neat. Yeah. And we go Monday morning. The new episodes on that Aquatic News Network channel comes out every Monday morning.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, we enjoy it.
Something that you can throw on your earbuds and listen to, or is it more of a watch?
It's a video, but you can do it either way. But you get more out of it if you can sit down and watch it, because you get the comedy and you get the full feel of the entire thing if you can sit down and watch it. Okay. Whether you're working in your fish room and you want to put it up on your TV or something like that.
Yeah.
It's fun. We're getting better as we go, making it look a little bit more natural.
Yeah. Learning curves, man.
Yeah. So we've asked about your favorite fish. We've asked about the biggest thing you've learned. Which is your koi being your favorite fish. I always have a crap ton of questions, but they slip my mind. I try to ask questions that are not your average questions that most people ask. Here's one for you. Other than sponsorships, how have you found that creating a YouTube channel and building a community helped you as a fish keeper?
Oh, let's see here. Oh, that's a great question. So like I've always set goals for myself. So, my ultimate goal as far as subscribers goes on YouTube would be, of course, to hit the 100K and get a cool little silver plaque. That would be really cool. But I don't understand how YouTube works. Just when you think you got it down, they're changing algorithms on you. And I don't blame them. That's what they got to do, or else everybody would be making all this money, right? So,
right.
And then I switched I didn't say I switched. I focused really hard on Instagram, and so my goal was to like achieve a certain amount of followers on Instagram, and using that platform to try to move people over to my YouTube channel. So I focused. It's all about being consistent, right? And so I put out 2 videos a week on YouTube and countless reels and whatnot and social media. And all the content on Instagram too as well. Most of it fish related, but it's more personal. So you get to know me more as a person and more of my personality and whatnot on Instagram. It's more personable. And then YouTube is, obviously strictly aquarium stuff. But, I would say being consistent is probably, and it drives me. I'm super, I would say, I'm addicted to just to be in. I would say I'm addicted to. I would say obsessed. So this is a saying that I would always use, but in order to have success, you got to be obsessed. So you look at all these people that are super successful. They are totally obsessed with whatever their craft is, right? And so I get that mentality of being obsessed on creating content. And like I said, it's hit and miss. Some videos take off, some of them don't, and it's okay. And if you have that mentality of this is going to be the next viral video, you're just setting yourself up for failure, because
Yeah.
you may have something that may hit and you're like, I get it. Now I know what to do. And then you put out like 5 more videos and you're like, oh, what the hell? So,
But how has being online helped you as a fish keeper? Like, has it networking with people, learning, have you been able to become a more well-rounded fish keeper by being online and meeting and talking with different people?
yeah, I would say I'm a people person. So meeting people in the hobby, that is probably like the number one thing. The sponsors and all that stuff is whatever, but like coming up and meeting people that have like you're like-minded, right? We sit there and talk about fish, and then you go to the next person and they have something to ask and talk to you about, and it's like, man, this is so cool. You know what I mean? Like um having like-minded people, and when they see us on camera on YouTube, they almost have a sense of like, oh, I know this person, right? So it's like I'll be talking to them, and the reality is when they mention something in a video that I posted 2 years ago, and I'm like, wow, you remember that? I have to think about it for a second, and I'm like, wow, you are a hardcore. I get it, man. So
Yeah.
that's the coolest thing, and just talking with people, and yeah, meeting like-minded people in the hobby.
Garcia said that was before he started YouTube. I think it was more like 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah, it was a long time ago, man. I'm old, Garcia. It's all a blur, dude.
June remembers it too, and she didn't know that was Garcia.
Yeah, that was Garcia Aquatics that gifted me those fish. So, man, if it was before Garcia got online, dude, yeah, yeah, it was. I think we met like kind of like talking, chatting, like we all do on Instagram. It was like, do you have an Instagram? I try to look you up on Instagram.
I mean, I do, but I don't. Just pretty
Oh,
much no. I have a little bit of content over there, but I just never get on it. And then I broke my iPad, which was my only personal device. The screen exploded, so I
oh,
literally can't get on it.
oh, okay.
But
Yeah,
I'm mostly on YouTube is my main thing. We're live right now on Facebook, YouTube, and Rumble at the same time. I do TikTok more than I get good results on TikTok. I did some live streams over there. You kind of make money. People come in and gift you. And the fish keeping community over there is super nice. I get my analytics on TikTok outdo my analytics on YouTube every time. Views, interaction, the whole 9 yards. I really enjoy TikTok. I got to do some more content over there.
yeah. I
Um,
try TikTok. I just can't keep up with all these platforms, man.
yeah.
Everyone's like, you got to do TikTok, and I'm like, all right, I'll try it. But it's like it's something new to learn. I'm not very savvy when it comes to all this technology, so
Mhm.
I like to keep things simple. So my main focus was, you know what? I know Instagram a little bit. I'm going to focus on Instagram, and I managed to just drive that channel. It's like over, I don't know, 116,000 followers.
Wow.
Cool. And I actually, it's crazy because I started YouTube before I really started being serious in Instagram. I didn't think you can make money on Instagram, but you can when you reach a certain level. Hell, I make more money on Instagram than I do YouTube sometimes. It just depends on the content and the views and the followers and stuff. But like, it's crazy that nowadays you can make a living if you're super focused and determined and consistent. You can make a living. I mean, it doesn't happen every month because it just depends on the views, but like you kind of have control of your views by just putting out more content, right? So like
Right.
every once in a while I'll throw in another video. So sometimes I'll create 3, sometimes even 4 videos in a week, and not just creating just crap videos, but trying to give some really good content with some substance and some entertainment value and some educational value, but having fun with it. And I try to do that, and I'm like, okay, that works, but it's so hard to be consistent doing 4 or 5 videos a week. That's hard, let alone 2 videos a week, right? So like I said, I tried it, and I'm like, oh, this is cool. I can see how you can raise your money at the end of the month with YouTube, but it's also that's a hell of a grind. Like what I'm doing is a grind. I couldn't even imagine trying to do, like a video every day for 5 days, or maybe taking every other day off. I can't do that, man. I
Yeah.
I also have a life. you know, I,
Right.
I have a life and I have a wife, so that's
Yeah.
that's my life. It's my wife, so I have to, I can't go hardcore, So if I was a single dude, and I didn't have all these bills, oh yeah, I do whatever, this is fun. But like, man, when you get older, the life takes over. So I've had good months, I've had bad months, and you just kind of just keep grinding, and I'm able to sustain, and have this hobby, and not only is it fun for me, but it also, pays bills too sometimes, so
Yeah.
that's the upside of it, and it's really cool.
Yeah.
So
And John over at Select Pet has said you should do some under the peacock name too, just as a throwback.
oh yeah, that was the OG Hawaiian peacock. I was so into African cichlids, and peacocks were my favorite African cichlid. And so that was like my first name I put out. I was just like, I don't know what to call myself, Hawaiian peacock. So I was doing that, and so a friend of mine was like, dude, you should change your name to something more fish related. And he's all, because peacock. And I go, well, what do you mean? He's like, you should call yourself Hawaiian FISHKEEPER. That's kind of catchy. And I'm like, I never thought about that. And I said, I don't know if I want to change my name, man. I was so like into the Hawaiian peacock, like, and he's like, no, man, you should do it. And so I just used the spelling, because my son's Instagram that he has, my oldest son who plays college ball, it's Flying Hawaiian, and the Hawaiian part is spelt like I spell it, which is HAYN and then FISHKEEPER.
Yeah.
So I said, I'll just spell it like the way he spells it, and I'll just throw FISHKEEPER at the end of it. So I've been running with that ever since. But I believe I have a hoodie that says Hawaiian Peacock, which is old. That would be fun. That would be cool to give away at like an event. That would be fun. Someone would be like, oh man, this is an OG hoodie. Because I only did one. Oh, actually, I think I have two. But yeah, it's maybe, I don't know, the Hawaiian Peacock, man. I haven't thought about that name in a while. That's an old school OG right there.
Yeah. Do you have any stickers or anything like that?
I do have Hawaiian FISHKEEPER stickers.
You want to send me some?
What's that?
So I have in my fish room here, I have a door, and I call it the fish cam door.
Text me your address.
Okay.
I'll send out some for you, man.
That'd be cool. I'll put you on the wall, man.
I got to send you some goodies, man. So I'll send you some goodies. I'll make a little care package for you. So make sure you text me your address for sure. You're in North Carolina, huh?
Yes, sir.
That's cool, man. I actually, when I lived in Orlando, Florida for a bit, I visited South Carolina, Myrtle Beach. So back in the day, I used to dance for the Polynesian Resort in Disney World. So I did the fire knife, like at luau's, the guy who spins the fire.
Mm-hmm.
I did that for many, many years. And so I worked out of Orlando. When I was doing that, people that had like luau shows, it's a community, right? They would call, and I had an agent contact me that wanted me to do a fire knife in Myrtle Beach. It was at this resort, and I go, okay. And I'm like in my early 20s. I'm like 23, 24. And they're like, we'll send you the contract. I'm like, contract? What is this? I would just show up and just do my performance. So I learned a lot at a young age about contracts and, obviously showing up at the gig and performing and how you get paid. And it was just wild. Back in the day, they used checks. So it was like, I drove out there because they were going to fly me out. And I was like, oh, no, I'll just drive there. Because I thought it was like a rock throw away, but it's like a 13-hour drive or something from Orlando to Myrtle Beach. So it was something crazy. I can't even remember, 10 hours, 11 hours. And my cousin goes, hey, I'll drive with you. So we just rolled out. I get the show, and then I drove back to Orlando. And like, that was a cool experience, though. Myrtle Beach was cool. And I know it's not North Carolina, but I was kind of close.
Yeah. I was actually born and raised in Pennsylvania. We moved down here 8 years ago or something like that.
Oh, okay.
John says he's got a video of his daughter still years ago in the backyard yelling at the top of her lungs, Hawaiian Peacock. She said she was giving him a shout out.
Oh, that's hilarious. I love it.
And Garcia wants to know when you're coming to Florida.
Oh, I know, man. I want to make a visit to Orlando. I miss Orlando. I still have friends. I have some family that live out in Orlando. I have some cousins and aunt and uncle that live out there. So I'd love to come out and visit. There was one time I was maybe contemplating a couple years ago. We were going to make a trip and go out there and, maybe do the Disney World thing and the Universal thing in Orlando. But man, it's expensive.
Mm, it is. It
When you
is. We want to take
boy,
our daughter there once.
ooh, I need to make some more videos before I do something like that. Reality set it. I'm like, yeah, that sounds great. Let's go. And my buddy was like, you can stay in my house. And it's just him in this house. And I'm like, it's like a 4-bedroom house. And I'm like, hey, babe, we got a place to stay. So we don't have to worry about a hotel. That's going to cut costs. And then you go and look at those airline tickets and you're like, oh, hell no.
Mm. It's insane for sure.
One day, man, I'll be coming to Florida. I'll hit you guys. I don't know how close you are, Garcia, to Orlando, but I'm definitely.
Garcia lives near, like, he's in West Palm.
Oh, okay. Oh, he's where all the exotics are in the streams out there in the behind the houses and stuff. They have all those water outlets, man.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, my man, I do have to jump off. It's after 8. I got a bird I gotta take care of and get put to bed every night.
Perfect, man. I appreciate the love, the support, you reaching out, and I'm glad we got to. It was nice meeting you too, by the way, man. So it was a complete honor to be on your live stream, man.
No, it's all on this end of the table. I appreciate you coming up. I certainly enjoyed having you up and getting to meet you. And I love doing this because I get to talk to you one-on-one. You see you on the videos and stuff, but when you actually get to talk to somebody like this, it's a whole different ball game when that happens. So certainly appreciate you coming up, and got a lot of fans, obviously. So thanks again for coming.
That's so cool, man. I appreciate it. Love everybody out there, man. Much love and aloha to everybody too.
Yeah, and you as well, and be safe, sir, and have a safe rest of your week.
Thanks, brother. Jess, take care, bro.
You too, my friend.
Bye.
Well, that's it for this live stream, guys. Appreciate everybody coming in and hanging out and meeting Mel, and got to ask him some questions. That was pretty good. I really enjoyed that, and I really enjoyed you guys coming in as always. So I'm going to go ahead and jump off. Certainly appreciate your time. Have a safe rest of your week and an even safer and fun weekend. So thanks again, guys. We'll see you out in the field.